It's Bipolar Barbie here, and today is my morning rant about my mother. Honestly, I think I could rename these morning rants like mother rants, morning mother rants, because honestly, there is enough, I guess, information there to rant about every single day. But today is just something particular that is like my morning routine, or her morning routine, I guess you would say. So, I wake up in the morning to her basically coming to my door telling me that Northie has no water. She uses this exact same sentence, and these are the reasons that I have an issue with Northie has no water. First of all, I don't know why it's named Northie's water. I mean, there's three dogs in the house, two of which are not named Northie and are not actually my dogs. So saying it's Northie's water really does imply that I'm the only one responsible for that water, despite the fact that two other dogs drink out of it. So that's my first issue that I have, which is just it's annoying, this kind of double standard. So that's frustrating to begin with. That's like the first interaction she just feels like she needs to say to me every day. The second issue that I really do have with it is the fact that, I'm like, Northie has water. She's like, no, there's only like an inch left in the water bowl. Now, what I mean by like water bowl is I mean like a bucket. Like this thing is like a 10-liter bucket. So like an inch of water in this 10-liter bucket is actually a shit ton of water. So it's not like I ever let my dog go without water. So he always does have water. It's just, yeah, it would by the morning of the next day get to like an inch, which is something that I would fill up eventually. And it's just frustrating that I don't know. Anyway, so there's that issue. Here is like a second part of the day where I get in trouble for dirt or grass or some form of substance that is walked through the house. And the reason this frustrates me is the accusation that it's me. Like immediately she jumps to this conclusion, you walked mud into the house, and she just starts skitzing out about it. So I was like, I haven't even been into the house yet, which is so true. I hadn't actually been into the house yet. And she was like, well, you must have, because there's stuff on the ground. So you're the only one that could have walked stuff into the house. So therefore you're lying because you must have been in the house. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous. So I go inside and I was like, okay, well, first of all, I don't know where I would have gotten grass on my feet, or I didn't walk in the house with shoes. It's like, I've literally just woken up now and not been in the house at all. Second of all, I'm kind of there going, if it was me, I would have, like, the trail of grass would have literally gone from the back door straight to the kettle, where I would have made my morning coffee and left again. But there was no grass in, like, the pantry area where the milk's kept, or there was no grass in the kitchen, which means, like, if it was me, somehow the grass would have, like, come off my feet as I walked in the door and turned right into the kitchen. The second part was I decided to follow this trail of grass because I knew it wasn't me. So anyway, I followed this trail of grass, and clearly it goes in the house, down the hallway, into the toilet. And I mean, I have my own toilet, so I don't use this toilet at all. So it wouldn't make sense as to why it would go to the toilet. Second of all, this trail actually goes all the way to their bedroom door. And not just that, it goes onto the carpet inside my parents' bedroom. So I'm there going, there's no way in hell this is mine. And there is clear proof because it goes directly to your bedroom. And then she's like, oh, well, it must have been your father then. Like, duh. I mean, the accusation in itself is, like, not that annoying because, you know what, I guess, like, sometimes it probably could have been me. I do have this way of sort of creating this trail of mess because I'm either so off in my own little world, I'm just not paying any attention to anything outside of my mind because I'm in this, like, disassociative state where I'm not connected to my body and the things that my body are doing, and I'm kind of on this autopilot, so I'm not aware of my physical existence. It's just more mental existence. And then even if I'm not in this mentally fucked up place, it's like I do get very, very sort of like obsessed, very focused on whatever it is that I happen to be doing at the time. And again, it's kind of like this tunnel vision where I'm not aware of anything else, and any distraction is really, really frustrating for me. It's really annoying. But just this conclusion that has always been drawn my entire life from both my parents, that if anything is kind of amiss, if anything is wrong, it's like automatically my fault. And I get that. I do get where that comes from. Because, I mean, when I was a kid, it was very apparent, you know. If there was scissors missing, if there was, like, paper missing, if the printer was out of ink, and if the sticky tape was gone, then, yeah, most likely you would find that in my possession. Because I often used those items for my creative endeavors. And I probably wouldn't put them back because I would be in between projects, so I'd still be using them. But then, like, yesterday, she comes out and she does the same thing. And she goes, make sure you put back whatever you've taken out of your dad's garage. Now, I did get in trouble for taking oil out of my dad's garage to fill out my car, which normally would be fine, but apparently it was, like, some special oil that he needed for something. So I am sorry for that. So I've been banned from the garage, which is fine. I haven't been in there since. So the door was open. And immediately, because the door was open, she jumps to the conclusion that I must have been in there and I needed to return whatever I had taken. And I'm kind of like, well, I haven't been in there. And then she goes, well, obviously you have, because the door's open. So that's the only explanation I said to her. It's not that my dad could have left the door open, which he frequently does. And then eventually, like, my sister's boyfriend comes out and goes, oh, actually, I was the one in the garage. Like, because the door's open, it immediately means that I'm in there? Like, is that the logical conclusion to draw? No. It'd be like my dad was in there, like it's his garage. I just don't know. This is like really frustrating to just be on the immediate accusing end of anything. And the frustrating part is not everything is like admitting, okay, well, it must have been your dad that walked the thing into the house. That was a rare occurrence. That was really interesting for her to admit that. I mean, an apology would not be acceptable from her point of view, but normally I'm not allowed a defense. That's the frustrating part. They assume that I am responsible, and there is no negotiating. There was no correcting them. In their mind, they have just deemed that I'm responsible for it, and that is like all the proof that they need. Regardless of the facts, regardless of like all, I mean, I feel like Stephen Avery, you know, being framed for like a crime he didn't commit, or just, you know, somehow this evidence has just been misinterpreted and they're like, the only logical conclusion is you, when there are so many other options that people just neglect to explore. So that's my morning rant. If you can relate, give me a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. And I love to hear them. I love reading your comments. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Seriously. Read the comments and see what people say about my content, which should be cool. And if I can't convince you to subscribe, maybe they can.